Good morning, good afternoon, depends on where you are. Welcome to participate in the webinar. Today's webinar is called Work Less and Grow More with Milesight Precision Irrigation Solution. I'm your presenter, Jessica, from the marketing department of Milesight. You know, smart irrigation is not only convenient and cost-effective, but is also simply the right thing to do. With the world's population approaching 8 billion, water is becoming more and more scarce. Up to 70% of the world's water consumption is used for irrigation. But we're also surprised to find that most of the water withdrawals are wasted. Up to half of the water we spend on irrigation is wasted due to the inefficient irrigation methods. Knowing when and how much to water is two important aspects of watering process. And to eliminate or minimize the manual intervention by farmers is another object for smart irrigation. To make the farming works easily, the Milesight automatic and precision irrigation system is created. With Milesight's precision irrigation, you will do a favor to yourself and to the world. So in this webinar, you will find out why precision irrigation is awesome. And don't worry, it's not complicated and it's not a costly system. I think every agriculture operator, every owner can afford it. So before going into the details on the applications, you are first explore what are the pain points the agriculture communities are facing nowadays, their causes, their costs, and we will also explain why automatic and precision irrigation is important, and exactly how some of the technology works, and then look at the key application after a very quick summary. Then I can take any questions from you all at the end of this session. Let's start with look at the pain points to our farmers, agriculture communities. I think it formed a vicious circle since the farmers or agriculture communities lack information, or with very poor training, they don't know how to approach the new technology, the new technical implementations. For example, they don't know how to find the optimal irrigation schedule in order to get the best water use efficiency, and how to realize the automation in the field and reduce the potential costs. And then they waste resources, spend more money, but with very bad quality, less yield, and finally, low production. And less yield means less income. Then a small budget prevents the farmers from learning new technical experience or introducing the new technical knowledge in order to implement the new solutions to help them grow more crops and get more income. So here we can find there's no big beginning or very good beginning and not very good outcome. Then before we jump into this solution, let's first to get more information about the automatic and precision irrigation. Now, what is precision irrigation? You probably ask yourself. This is the question of irrigation schedule. When and how much to irrigate? On one side, we all know that under-irrigation can result in yield or result in the quality reductions. Because of the crop water stress, cannot get enough water for the optimal yield. However, over-irrigation is also not good. It can have caused negative environmental consequences, and harms the plants and their roots. The consequences including such as the increased runoff, nitrate leaching, and crop disease, and increased water, increased fertilizer, and the time and labor, and energy costs. So right there in the middle, I think there is a very sneaky optimal timing how to find it is really, really hard to find this optimal timing. And this is another question for the automatic irrigation. Can I control it remotely when I'm far away from the field or when I'm out for holidays? Is it easy to deploy and operate with no or just a very minimum of the manual intervention besides the surveillance? And can I make decisions based on the scientific data rather than my previous experience? Does it work with my existing water valves? Because I don't want to redeploy my watering networks. Then I think later you can find answers, all of the answers of these questions from Milesight solution introduction part. And the second question I guess you will be having out there is, I know it's important, but what else I can get? What are the benefits? Think in advance how you want to use your smart irrigation. How complex will it be? Scheduling is a very useful feature as it gives you the peace of mind. Even when you are on vacation, when you connect it to a moisture sensor, it can automatically shorten or it can automatically extend prolonged irrigation times to make sure your plants are not thirsty or drawing in water. And with smart irrigation system, you can set up separate irrigation zones, separate irrigation areas for the plants that have different needs. Each irrigation valve irrigates its own area. The area irrigated by one valve is one irrigation zone, so you can personalize each irrigation zone and water the soil as much as the plants need. And the notifications are usually, sometimes we forget it, but notifications are useful and convenient. You can get notified when the irrigation starts, when it's complicated, when you finish it, and how much water used, and the water volume, the water quantity, and the system notify you if your water volume leaves your pre-settings or your ideal optimal range in the system. And there is no dispute that the smart irrigation saves water compared to the dump irrigation system. And most automated irrigation systems need electricity, and smart irrigation system can let you work in the place where lack the standard electric power supply. So that's very convenient. And because they are wireless components, they can be installed in the situations where the wires would be a major hassle to put in, would be a major challenge to deploy. And Milesight wireless technology allows valves to go where no valves has gone before. And let's move to focus on 3 applications we have identified which we think a key might be of interest to our customers, to our clients. And we are kicking off with the first application, which is the irrigation in golf course. And turf grass requires good soils and adequate levels of sunlight, nutrients, and water to endure a wide range of the environmental extremes. Of these requirements, water may be the most challenging to provide because it must be distributed frequently and uniformly into the soil for uptake by the turf grass root system. And wild products and installation are difficult and slow. Since time is money, the quicker a contractor can put in a job, the quicker he can move on to the next. Where in the past, it might have taken the contractors or system integrators more than 1 hour to install a wired sensor in the system. Today, he can install a wireless one in less than 10 minutes. And the troubleshooting is also easier because if you have a wired product, you have to look for the breaks or look for the phrase in the wire. It takes time to locate the troubles and then to patch or splice a good line into it again. With a wireless product, there's no cables to worry about, and you don't have to think about any after deployment maintenance. Okay, so in the control center, the remote monitoring center is locally linked to the LoRaWAN gateway, which communicates on our extreme range to the valve controller here. So from this diagram typographic, you can find how we connect the valve, the sensors, and our controllers and our gateway into organic solution. The Milesight LoRaWAN controller connects directly to the DC latching solenoids of the valve. The LoRa signal is guaranteed even if the Milesight controller is installed below grass surface and into the irrigation box. And one LoRaWAN gateway is usually sufficient, is usually enough to cover all the irrigation areas of the entire golf playing ground. And because there is no wires needed to power the solenoid valve, a new zone or a new area can start from any given point. Anytime, the Milesight wireless controller is the ultimate solution to simplify your installation and reduce your costs by using wireless, by cutting off the cables, encoders, decoders, those kind of equipment. The Milesight LoRaWAN based controller can help the golf club owners to reduce their installation spends money instead of using the dedicated wireless device to control the valve from the control room. In the construction sites and the traffic mediums, roundabouts, rural properties, or any public parks, or places that lack the standard electric power. But with the Milesight LoRaWAN-based sensors and LoRaWAN-based wireless controller for the irrigation valve, we make it possible for the municipalities in charge of landscape irrigation to enjoy the benefits of advanced irrigation. And the sensor's battery life is guaranteed through 10 years, maximum 10 years. Depends on the what kind of class A or class C, or it's class A, I think mostly, and also depends on the spreading factor. But if you are using the class A and spreading factor 7, I think maximum 10 years is guaranteed, and making replacement a very simple task, just a piece of cake. And to the smart valve, which can be either the solar-powered or battery support, the system integrator can choose the most suitable option here. To reach the valve, the operator can communicate with it from kilometers or miles away, very far away, and even in the urban areas. And plus, with all installed components hidden safely underground and out of view, so only the Milesight wireless smart irrigation system is the truly vandal resistant. In the landscapes, many small animals, they may curious to check, to see, like to eating in front of a camera. I think sometimes it may destroyed equipment. So if we put it underground installation, it can effectively protect this device from any attack. And with the Milesight LoLo-1 sensors and valve controllers, there are no extra irrigation controllers required, because these LoLo-1 based controllers are often very accessible. They are easy targets of vandalism or theft. And once the gateway and components are deployed, you can get an immediate valve open or close control and feedback directly from each area. And the Milesight weatherproof device is the IP67. It can be buried below surface level into a valve box with no problem. But according to our test, of course, the LoLo-1 signal is a little bit reduced, the LoLo-1 signal strength. So each sensor and controller has its own identification number that is logged at the remote controller center or to your smartphone app. And later I will give you more details about how to set it up. And future expansion has never been so easy. Just store the valve into the irrigation box and you are ready to go anywhere, anytime. And one of the most common problems with farm irrigation systems has to do with irrigation scheduling. Irrigation scheduling simply answered this question: when do I water? How long do I water? And starting an irrigation cycle too early or running an irrigation cycle too long is considered overweighting, okay? And at the very least, there's practical wastes. It wastes water and money. However, overwatering can cause crop damage if done on a prolonged basis. Likewise, starting an irrigation cycle too late or not running the system for a long enough period of time is considered underwatering and can cause reduced yield and poor crop quality. I think farmers, they hate to see this result. The Milesight LoLo-1 wireless smart controller can not only open, not only close your valve kilometers away or daily scheduled scheme with start periods can be recommended directly by the controller. And we have used the same technology to start your remote pump too, not only the valve. You can connect our controller to a bistable relay. The Milesight smart controller will operate your pump at the right moment and perfectly synchronize with the status of your valve to help your pipes only when it's needed. And you have no easy access to power at the pumping spot. I think that's a common issue, and your pump is running on a generator set. No issues. The Milesight LoLo-1 wireless smart controller will trigger the start or trigger the stop of your generator according to your command. And the last mile to understand is to understand how to set up the whole smart irrigation system. Here is a diagram. Let's go through it very quickly. The smart irrigation system collects, they only responsible for data collecting from sensors and sends the predefined user orders or commands to the actuators that make the water sprinkler to go on or go off. The data is collected by various sensors such as the soil moisture sensors, the weather sensors like the wind sensor or the rain sensor, and the light sensor. And a user device, you can define the moisture and the temperature range in the system. And when the threshold is reached, action is performed. For example, you can start and stop irrigation when the moisture is at a certain level. The irrigation controller can also make sure that water is actually flowing. that the pipes are not clogged or leaking, etc. The user can control the system easily through a smartphone app. Of course, if you want to check the water pipe, water leakage in the pipes, of course, you can use our water leak detection sensor as well from our side. And based on weather information and the sensor data, the controller can determine on its own when is the best time to irrigate, and how long to irrigate, and how much water to use. And I know some of the audience have participated the previous webinars, such as how to take use of the soil sensors, how to take use of the water level sensors, temperature and humidity sensor, and the light sensor to realize the automatic data monitoring in smart agricultural application. So here are the listed sensors. They are all the lithium battery. Okay, they are battery operated. Okay, with maximum 10 years. So I will leave the measurement range, this kind of information to yourself so you can check it in the specification or in the data sheet. But still a lot of customers, they are stuck in the last step, in the last mile of installation. That is how to resolve the water controlling, how to get the water controlling automatically, how to exactly realize the remote turn on and turn off of the water supply in the field wirelessly, okay, based on their valves or based on their water pumps. Milesight, we are going to launch this new product, LoLoWan-based valve controller, UC 510 series. So there are two different versions, the solar version and the battery version. But of course, I think solar version is the first choice. We strongly recommend you can try this model UC 511. They are specialized, designed to work with any water valves brands, any valves brands that come in with DC launching solenoids, solar panel version, and replaceable battery version. They are all available to be used in different environment, and they are all IP67 waterproof, so you can deploy outside in any place you want. Okay, let's see how it works. There are, I think, only 5 steps. Only 5 steps later, you can finish the hardware settings. The gateway installation is always the first step. Power on it and join the LoLoWan network in Milesight IoT Cloud. The second step, in the cloud platform, just fill in the serial number of the controller and bundle it with the gateway. And the third step, power on the controller. Here you have 2 options to power the controller. You can connect the 2 wires of the solenoid valve to the controller. Then the controller will be powered on automatically. So that's the physical connection with the valve. Or you can manually power on it through the near-field communication technology, Toolbox software. You just download the Milesight Toolbox from the Google Play or from the App Store on your mobile app. And fourthly, the 4th step, in Toolbox software, you can check in if you are happy with the default reporting interval, if you are happy with the out-of-factory settings, such as the reporting interval, response time, and Class A settings. If not, you can change them directly in the Toolbox. And finally, you are almost finished. Just test and control your LoLoWan controller on the spot. Open, close your irrigation valve from anywhere. Then you are now ready to program the automatic and precision watering operation via the trigger in the cloud in the Milesight IoT Cloud to schedule the irrigation and enjoy years of the maintenance-free operation. Let's go through a few important features in Milesight IoT Cloud. First is the valve status display. These three icons can easily tell you the status of valves, whether they are on or whether they are off or in alarm. And when it starts to water and stop watering, when is the last watering time, and how much water have used on last time, and totally volume you can check from this dashboard, or you can check it on the Google map as well. So anyway, is the valve status display is at all glance. And do you want to know how to control the water volume just through the irrigation duration here? You can set up from the 0 minute to maximum 24 hours. 0 minute, it means continuous watering, no automatic stop operation at all until you manually operate. If you input 0 minute. And you can get notified when the valve open or when the valve closed. You can set alarm threshold for the water volume of each valve and get notification on dashboard, or by email or by mobile app, and mobile app push when the volume leaves your range. Because each controller, there are two interfaces, the solenoid interface. So it can connect with two solenoid valves here in our controller. And also you can, there are one interface that you can connect with one or two maximum, two water meters, okay, the pulse meters. In Milesight, you can get the device details in this Milesight IoT Cloud platform. You can get the last operation time from both app and from the web interface. So here you can find the last closing time and the last opening time, last closing time, and which model it is, the solar panel version or the battery version. And our controller only collects and report the pulse data from the flow meter, water meter So you need to define the pulse of the meter. For example, 1 pulse means 1 gallon or 1 liter of water, and 5 pulses means 5 gallons or 5 liters of water. Then this settings is up to yourself. Then this exact number will be displayed in the IoT Cloud platform. So you need to check 1 pulse. It means 1 gallon or 0.5 gallon. And work type options, Class A or Class C, is very important for the battery life, working life. Class type setting is closely related to the power consumption. So as we know, Class A requires the lowest power, but you may face the comment delay. In Class C, it can allow your new settings, new comments in cloud to take effect quickly in the end devices, just a few seconds, almost no delay at all, but it uses more power consumption. And for example, just click turn on the valve in cloud. Class A, it can only make it happen in the end devices on 20 minutes, but Class C can make it happen just in a minute. 20 seconds here, it depends on your reporting interval, okay? If you set up the reporting interval like every 60 minutes, so your turn on command, this on command will only take effect 6 minutes later. So here is what's the difference between class A and class C when you want to carry on your command from the cloud into the end devices. And the last but not the least feature, the irrigation schedules, very important. It eliminates your manual operation. Everything you can, it can be automatic, Set up your time, set up your soil moisture range, and the soil temperature range, and the lightness range. And when all of those conditions triggered, or either of them happens, then your valve can be opened automatically. How many valves be opened, and even the irrigation runtime, how long time you want to irrigate, is all up to you. So in our trigger navigation bar, you can find how to set up these irrigation schedules. Okay, let's see a few questions, frequently asked questions. First, is there any mistake or counting error? Yes, there is about 1 minute time error of ensuring the command from cloud due to the delay caused by the LOL1 mechanism. For example, if you set up the duration of operation as 10 minutes in the cloud, but if we minus of the last opening time and the last closing time, maybe it will be only 9 minutes only. But that is the only counting display in this cloud platform. And exactly in the field, the system has already irrigated for 10 minutes fully. Irrigation. Okay. So just in display and just in the fact, there are difference. And is there flow volume difference for the time-controlled irrigation? Yes, the flow volume reported by the controller may be different each time, even is operated under the same duration, because there are two reasons. First is about the low water pressure. It will cause the water volume to be different even if sprayed for the same duration, even if it's irrigated for the same time. And counting mechanism of the water meter is another issue that can cause this difference. For example, in the last minute of the irrigation, the water meter will not output pulses to the solenoid valve device if it's only half turn of the pulse meter. So that's another reason. And is there any record for the irrigation on and off? Yes, almost every activity, every operation you make in the cloud, it can be recorded. First, if you want to check the schedule records corresponding to your solid valve port. As I mentioned, we have two different ports can connect maximum 2 valves. So in the device page and in the dashboard, you can find the schedule records. And if you want to review and if you want to download the schedule of the valve and historical data of the water flow, you can find in the history page. And if you want to get how many triggers, how many conditions and actions that you already set up for the scheduling, well, you can get the records in the event center. Just find the event navigation bar. Everything is over there. And if you want to generate it regularly according to the valve on and off records, and if you want to find the water flow volume, you can generate the reports daily, weekly, or monthly. Just go to the report center, okay? And finally, in the next new firmware and next new version, it will record the manual operated activities also in the device log, in the device management log. So not only the automated or automatic settings in the cloud, but next time the manual operations will also be recorded. And you may ask, what brands of the solenoid valves can you support? Can your controller support? Well, here we have already tested with Burmat, and I think is a very popular brand in the solenoid valve market. And also we have already got the Rainbird and Hunter's samples for testing. So here you can find our testing result. This is our toolbox settings. Our engineer set up for 1 minute operation, and he records the operation process. Just 1 minute. So here I just give you an idea how we test it and how we connect. This is the interface of the UC510, the smart controller, and one port connects with a valve and another. This port connect with another one, and this is the water meter connect with physically connection as well. And don't worry about this water wasting. This water will be recycled to use for the cleaning. Okay. And also we have a small garden that we can manually watering those plants by using this water. So let's see finally what's the summary. So in this summary we have explained why the automatic and precision irrigation are important and why it should be considered in a number of applications. And here is an idea which helps not only farmers, not only the farmers, okay, even for the watering gardens, municipalities, or also with sense the small garden or small plant owners, so they can take use of this solution as well, and which senses the soil moisture, and switch the valve automatically. And when you set up properly through the schedule, the triggers in the Milesight IoT cloud platform. So once you set it up properly and just leave it alone for work in the field and get all the data information automatically according to your settings. Okay, thanks very much for staying with me and joining this webinar. And see you next time. Wish you have a nice day. Bye-bye.